Poison time. We're gonna be starting off with midweek magic, and then we'll be hopping into Brightglass Gearhulk Poison. We played against a Brightglass Gearhulk Poison deck yesterday, and it was pretty interesting. So the reason we're playing midweek magic again is to work towards that achievement. I've mentioned this once before, but if you go to formats, the last row here is you have to play in 52 midweek magic events if you want to go ahead and get complete this set of achievements. So why not? It's a good excuse to play midweek magic, and we also get to collect cosmetics and cards potentially. So this is slow start. Going first is always such a treat, but sometimes it's nice to go second instead to help smooth things out. The player who goes first will have their first land enter the battlefield tapped. Just take it easy for a turn. Okay, interesting. Is that all? Is this historic or is this standard? I guess we'll find out. Is it alchemy? We just played this yesterday, so I'm assuming it's alchemy. Yeah, okay, so it's alchemy. Of course. Of course. Whoops. Also I have too many decks. We gotta get rid of one. I gotta clean up my decks at some point here, but that day will not be today. All right. Do we want to try out one of the? Nah, let's brew a deck. It's always fun to get a chance to brew a deck for these midweek magic events. So mono green, as is tradition, we play mono green here. If we need a deck, just make a mono green deck. Surely it'll work out. Does alchemy allow the A symbol cards? Forgot about that. Ball Patch Recruit, really good with mono green because the opponent uses removal, you get counters, and then also works well with elves. Are we gonna make a Might Color deck, or are we going for something else? Let's see what the alchemy exclusive cards are. I have no experience with these cards. See if they have any good uncommons for us. Kicker, forage, seek a non-basic land. Alright. Search your library for basic land. Really put it in your hand and then shuffle. Comes a clue. It's rare. I'm not spending on rares. Offspring enters. Ooh, this makes other creatures cost less in our hand. That actually seems pretty fun. And then I hear this Fuel Tank Feaster card is actually completely broken. At the beginning of your first main phase, a random creature card with greatest mana value among creature cards in your hand perpetually gains the spell cost 1 less to cast. Alright, maybe we're just gonna go for maximum discounts. Do we have tribute? Or what is our draw? Okay, these cards aren't gonna actually have draw. I forgot about this. Is seek and whatever. Or conjure. Conjure puts it into your hand, right? I don't know. Somebody help me out. I don't know what's going on in alchemy. Golden opportunity. Golden goose. Enters. Choose one. Conjure Savage Stomp or Conjure Naturalize. Alright, I want to play big things at a discount. Okay, well, alchemy cards, we gotta peek at them. We're gonna play a few, but I don't think there's that much to gain unless we're gonna spend rares. Alright, drawing cards is important if we can. Ooh. Ooh, Volborn Tyrant plus these cards could be pretty good. Enters creature cards in your hand perpetually gain the spell cost 1 less to cast. Yeah, that seems to work pretty well with the plan. I'm a big fan of the Volborn Tyrant. And then Outcaster Trailblazer draws his cards as well. What else could we play? We want creatures. We have a fair amount of cheap creatures. We do need removal at some point. Damage. Monstrous Emergence could work, but Bedrock Tortoise. Alright, so we do have hard-hitting questions, which is pretty good removal, all things considered. What is up, Turd Gobbler? What a interesting name. We are playing the midweek Magic here, making mono green as is tradition, honestly, at this point, but trying to figure out how to make a deck. Need creatures, card draw, removal. Trying to tick all the boxes here. I guess we'll play hard-hitting questions. We get enchantments. Usually you can get enchantments or creatures. Or sorry, enchantments or artifacts with some cards. Club Strike Elite is not bad. I don't think we want to play a Reclamation Sage, but... Okay, Vivian Reed actually is pretty nice. Especially when the game is going to be probably a bit slower, I would think. Alright, and then... anything that I'm missing, what could we add? We have... any more 1-drops? I guess we could add Sentinel Stalwart. Oh wait, is the Stalwart not legal? It is not. Darn it. Okay, I guess we only have one. Enjoying Sidious Fungus. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. That's a good one. Let's I almost played it in yesterday's deck. Alright. Why do I have an odd number of cards? So Planeswalkers. Ramp card draw and flexible removal. Yeah. Maybe I'll play another Vivian Reed. Just for some extra removal. Our deck has been created. See what happens. So I guess this kind of nerfs, if we're going first, we want to go second. That's weird. Because we can't go turn 1 Llanowar Elves. Because our first land is tapped if we're first. Okay, opponent goes first, which is good, I guess. I don't know. Sand isn't bad. We can ramp quite a bit. I think we just run out Fuel Tank Feaster because this is going to get so much value if it sticks. What is Demir Nashi? I wasn't expecting that. Who's a druid? Fear of Infinity. Okay, our Outcaster Trailblazer costs one less to cast. It's kind of fun. Oh, I forgot I can play Scrap Shooter. Here, I will replace your Fear of Infinity. This might not be the best way to deal with it because they just draw a card and we could have just told them to stop by holding up a blocker, but... Alright, Vivian should be able to go in next turn and start drawing his cards. Recently, I've been playing a fair amount of Historic, and I've been playing like Mono Green Devotion, but I don't have all of the cards that are in like the typical Mono Green Devotion decks. Because I don't have Karn, so I don't want to spend a bunch of mythics on it, and so. But one of the cards in it is Outcaster Trailblazer, and it draws quite a few cards, which is quite nice. Wow, these cards are not very helpful when we don't have relevant creatures. Alright. Time to get rid of Nashi. I will... Huh. We want to keep our Outcaster Trailblazer, so if they remove this in response, we want it to be the Scrap Shooter, because if they put the Scrap Shooter back into our hand as well, we get options. So they grew our creatures, and I think we're pretty safe to swing. This Fountain Fort Charmer would be really nice if we had one of our Vaultborn Tyrants in our hand. What does this do? Combat damage, mill that many cards. You may put any number of legendary and or enchantment cards from among them into your hand. Okay. I will allow it. Oh my. We can destroy the Enduring Curiosity, but we're running into some dangers here. I could play Vivian Reed and Uptick, I think.
Watch out. I'm on the hunt.
Where are you, Vaultborn? Where are you? We need Vaultborn Tyrant. We don't actually have that much to overwhelm our opponent. Maybe we need to add like 5R. Okay, opponent is going for damage. We'll spread out the counter some. I'm probably going to kill the other Outcaster Trailblazer in response, or no. We need... ooh, we could play the Thunderous Velocipede, and that would pump up all our creatures as they enter. That might be good with something like our Offspring creatures. Our creatures cost a lot less. Oh, they all cost one less. The Fountain Fort Charmer and the other Fountain Fort Charmer. Ay, ay, ay. This is not ideal. Do we just run out into a sweeper? Interesting. The opponent is going to counter that. Okay. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to play Llanowar Elves and we're going to draw a card. Really would like one of those big dinos. we're definitely going to add Tyvar, the pummeler, to this deck. We need some overrun. We're kind of getting stonewalled. I guess I could swing in and trade, but it doesn't feel very good when they get to keep their enduring curiosity. Opponent seems to be definitely a graveyard deck. Cynical Loner. They have the fear of infinities that they can get back from the graveyard. There's Vaultborn Tyrant. Vaultborn is going to cost a little less. And then I think if I cast this with Offspring, actually let's go up one.
You have your
Sharpshooter is nice.
I have mine.
This is mana neutral, I think. We'll do that first. I could do it again, I guess. These Foundport Charmers might be a little overkill. Or a 2-mana Vaultborn Tyrant. Let's go. That was easy. We can cast this. Oh, because we have Llanowar Elves. Sure. I'll go ahead and blow up Curiosity. Or no, I'll blow up Baelmerk. Baelmerk makes more sense, I think. And then we're going to draw 2 cards. Alright, we got... The card draw is unlocked. Yeah, we need actually an overrun, but I guess we can ultimate Vivian Reed. -2/-2, or -8 is +2/+2 vigilance, trample, and indestructible. So our opponent needs to deal with Vivian Reed, or we get an indestructible board. Which seems pretty good. They're called Loner, that's not going to do it. They have Valgavoth in their hands, they can't reanimate it. Are they going to get to discard it? They get Fear of Infinity back. I gotta believe we have lethal next turn. Is there anything with Proliferate in Standard? I mean, I'm not gonna not do it.
Oh, I've made lots
I
of
will
friends
play
with
this. You and GG. Planeswalkers, they do things. Forget about it sometimes, but not bad. Wow, I added Vivian Reed because I was like, it's nice for card draw. It's good removal. If it sticks around, it is insane. And I didn't expect it to stick around that much, but opponent did not have. We just kind of stared at each other until my Planeswalker ultimated. Oh yeah, I was gonna add Tyvar. Oops. We will try keeping this. And I draw another 2-drop because I don't really want to run out Fountainport Charmer without the Offspring, because the Offspring is so good. It's 1 mana for like an additional discount on all your creatures in your hand. Alright, we'll just have to play it out. Next turn we can cast the Trailblazer into the Scrap Shooter, which is pretty broken. I could also just play Elves. Oh, it didn't look like the opponent had anything there. They didn't. Are you gonna counter it? I can't believe I just got. I'm going to implode. Opponent has no interaction beside, or like had no interaction besides the counterspell. Yeah, we kind of need to put a bit of a more, a bigger clock on our opponent here. They could untap and wrath, but I don't think leaving just 3 power on the board is going to force a wrath out of their hand necessarily. Oh. See if we can get our opponents to respond. We're not going to attack with elves. We want to try and cast Tyrant. I guess we should be playing Cavern of Souls. I think that's still legal. Well, I don't want to play Vaultborn. I genuinely don't want to play Vaultborn if our opponent is going to do nothing. But yeah, we gotta add Tyvar and Cavern of Souls. Split up, that's fine. 2 mana open though, still. Oh, make them have it. Screw you and your fish. It's actually not terrible because I can't just crack it to Fountain Port, but ay ay ay. Those were some rough counter spells. Oko can make 3 threes. Alright. Vivian. Which planeswalker is better? Vivian or Oko? Alright, well. That is not exactly what I was looking for, but I guess I could play Insidious Fungus. And try and draw a card next turn. Also represents removal of our opponents trying to play Doubling Season. Doubling Season goes pretty crazy with Oko because Oko's ultimate is for each other non-land permanent you control, create a token that's a copy of that permanent. Someone shared, I believe it was Night Sky, shared me a deck that was using Oko plus Doubling Season, and you have Doubling Season, you cast Oko. Oko enters with 3 loyalty times 2, enters with 6 loyalty, and you can immediately -5. Yeah, it looks like they're into copying stuff. Alright, well, elves into the elk.
Do you really want to do this?
Yeah, I was going to try and do that, but I just didn't have enough mana. Need 2 mana to activate.
I have mine.
Alright, opponent, you don't have another counterspell. If you have the 3rd... I don't even care, man. That was 3 no more lies in the top 20 cards. So crazy. Unfortunate, but we're gonna add Cavern of Souls, and then we can hopefully avoid that in the future. Please tell me Cavern's legal. Alright, cool. 1, 2, 3. Don't want to put too many in. Oh, 3 is more than... Ah. Alright, Tyvar. We'll add Tyvar. We'll go down maybe a Scrap Shooter. What do we want to go down for Tyvar? We'll go down a Fountain Port Charmer and a Scrap Shooter. Keep it even. That is pretty unfortunate that our opponent just found all the counter spells and we had all the big cards that we wanted to resolve. So we were not set up to pay taxes. Yeah, that was 3 out of 4. Yeah, the 3 mana tax is pretty brutal. Aegis Turtle. Our opponent is a very based gamer. I guess they're playing Toughness Matters. No? What is happening? Oh wait, I think Foundation's Jumpstart might be legal, and then there's a creature that works well with high toughness, I think. It's maybe that's wrong. I honestly don't know what's legal in alchemy. I was just thinking about, is Foundations going to be legal for all 5 years in alchemy, or are they going to rotate it out early? 5R can go indestructible, which is nice. Oh my goodness. Last game, opponent has all the No More Lies. This game we draw into 4 Vaultborn Tyrants. Not ideal. And none of our ramp creatures. Bloom Trick. What is going on? Oh, we got a counter from Paul Batch Recruit. That's one nice thing, is it's either target of a spell or ability. Some cards, like Venerator Rot Priest, only cares about spells. So abilities get around Venerated Rot Priest. I wonder if our opponent's playing some kind of Blink deck, but still doesn't necessarily make sense why Bloom Trick would be one of the cards they're playing. Okay, just a land or, anything, honestly. Alright. We can attack in... They could kill Tyvar. Tyvar, go crazy. Block with the turtle. A 1-drop 0/5 is pretty crazy. Check this out, opponent. Tyvar, get him. I've tried drawing a Vaultborn Tyrant and it somehow has not solved any of my problems. I would love to know, like, you know how getting 4 of a kind is ridiculously, like, low odds in poker? I would love to know, like, how many cards deep is roughly equivalent to the amount of cards that you see in a poker hand. Like, we got 4 of a kind pretty early on, but still, I think you see less cards in poker. Oh my goodness, we're just gonna die to flyers. I should have tapped the cavern. I let auto tapper do it, and we might pay the price. Hello, opponent. And we did kind of pay the price. I think we can go in. Opponent has a pump spell, I die. This does remind me that I think there is, like, opportunity to play kind of an Azorius Flyers deck. There's a card from Foundations that pumps up all of your flyers, and if you have like Mockingbird, you can make a copy of it. So maybe Azorius Flyers is like a budget deck option. Wow. Opponent wanted to go Artisan on us. 0 rares and they're dunking on us. Alright, there's a land. Huge, huge. Alright. We can win. We're dead in the air. There. Nope, that's not the one I was thinking of. Oh yeah. Drawing the cards in the wrong order syndrome is the #1 leading cause of death for Magic Arena players. Alright, surely we don't draw 4 Volborn Tyrants. And no ramp. Alright, this hand we have ramp. Opponent goes first. We don't really have a great 1-drop in Paw Patch. I really like playing it on 3. Alright. Would love a land. So I would compromise for one of the Fuel Tank Guzzlers or whatever the card is called. I would also take one of those. Fog Bank? I'm getting Fog Banked. What the heck? I think we go Fountain Port Charmer into Trailblazer plus Scrap Shooter again. That worked pretty well last game. Hiya! Take this, Fog Bank. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt to and by this creature. I do like these cards. They're interesting. Okay. We will play Trailblazer. It's annoying that you don't get a discount on the plot cost, but it makes sense. You're not ooh, Fuel Tank Feaster should discount our Volborn Tyrant soon. We can't really attack past. What is with the Azorius Flyers meta though? This is the second deck of Azorius Flyers that we're facing. The Hawk. Wow, it is truly Azorius Flyers. I was just saying that it might be Azorius Flyers because of the cards they were playing, but nope, surely is. Alright, oh, this hand is awkward. I can plot. I'm gonna get the Fuel Tank Feaster down. And cry. Wait, what is with this? Is this like part of the normal? Yeah, it's weird that my hand isn't all 7 drops. We can not draw 7 drops sometimes. It's pretty cool. Wow, this is pretty identical to the last deck we were facing in the sense that they're also playing Fabloon Trick just for value. Okay. We get a discount on Voltborn. If I cast this, I get a singular green, which... Huh. We might draw a land. We're just going to cast this. I was thinking about whether I plot it or I cast it. I think casting it is better for us. Roll and create mana. Awesome. So we can resolve the Fuel Tank, or sorry, the Paw Patch Recruit if we want. Which I think I will. And then next turn we can get this down for 4 mana. This will make it expensive for them to try and tap down our creatures. We'll swing in with this. Oh my goodness. I mean, they have 3 mana for another one. Do I just not attack in? I think we give it a turn. Surely the opponent isn't playing Aetherize or a way to bounce our entire board. That would be problematic. If they're playing something like that, in particular like Aetherize, when we go to attack, they just bounce everything. The plan to slow down and then get value with Tyvar would be... Oh, there we go. Paw Patch Recruit saves the day. We got there. The opponent did not want to try and get past our slowly building wall. You're going to get there with the... Wait, did we hit 3 wins? 2 out of 3. So we have to play one more and win one more. We can do it. I do like the title, The Ambitious. I have to say it's one of my favorites. I do want to get the Magus of the Arena. I feel like that's just a cool sounding title, but it's very difficult to get because that's the one where you have to play like a bajillion games of every single format. I don't think I will be getting that one anytime soon. Hello. Where's my Tameo wave? Opponent is on green as well. How cool. We'll play Fountainport Charmer. Trade? You won't. Alright, they do not trade their Ramp Dork for our 2-1. We can get rid of their Mossborn Hydra still, but they can sacrifice that and it'll go all the way up to 4. So we can no longer get rid of their Mossborn Hydra. It is doomed. I forgot about Mossborn Hydra. It's actually a really good card to include. Ooh, we hit a second parting questions. That actually changes the math. I'm sorry, opponent. Questions will be hard and hitting, I guess. Next turn, our Voltborn goes down in cost by 1, and then the following turn we'll be able to cast it. This Fountainport Charmer I feel like is very explosive. It's not as flashy as the Fuel Tank Feaster, but it is explosive. Alright, we'll play this out so we have a chump blocker. The emotes will continue. The Rex, I forgot about this card as well. It's so big, I don't know what to do. What are we gonna do about it? Please, opponent. I just need to win one more. Then we'll be on to brewing. Bitter Triumph. We get a +1 counter, which is nice. We'll put it on the Charmer because it doesn't do anything, or like, it's not doing anything on the board. They kill the Voltborn, it comes back. We get to gain life, draw a card. Alright, Paw Patch Recruit. A Fuel Tank Feaster is going to be cheap. I can double block to kill it, but they might have another Rex to give it indestructible. That would be pretty silly. I think our opponent's playing Rex and planning to cycle it and then reanimate it. So they might also just have reanimation to get back that Rex. They don't have the black mana though, unfortunately, to cast a second one. Opponent, you're leaving me in suspense. Alright, close up our cavern to get a, presumably get a red, or sorry, a black mana. We should be able to cast both Fuel Tank Feasters and the Offspring Paw Patch. So we need to just Sanguine Soothsayer. Oh wow. Random creature with the greatest mana value. Oh, so it can hit the same one if they're tied. Interesting. Well, doesn't end up mattering in this case. Go ahead, go wide. Hopefully we draw Tyvar and we'll be able to pop off from there. Soothsayer, when it attacks, conjure Sanguine Bond. So we're fine with trading it so that Don't get Sanguine Bond. Down to 6. 5R wins us the game, I think. Yeah, because we have enough mana dorks to play him and activate. Midnight Reaper is a cool card. Because whenever a non-token creature you control dies, it deals damage, you draw a card. No one welcomes his visit, yet all must grant him tribute. That is a cool flavor text. Opponent going to escape tunnel. I'm assuming they were planning to do cool things with that. Osborne Hydra. I'm so glad that we drew into that second hard-hitting questions. I was gonna swing. They will get to draw a card from that dying, and they will be able to trade down, but we do 6+1 down to 1. Down to 1. They gain 2 from Sanguine. Oh wait, they die to the Midnight Reaper. Alright, GG. We have completed the midweek Magic challenge. Now it's on to brewing Gearhulk Toxic. Now, someone posted a comment showing, or like having a sort of baseline deck list to check out, and it was in Bant. One thing I'm debating with this deck is whether or not we want to go into Bant or if we want to stick to just Lesnia. Because I think there's serious mana problems in our land base if we want to play Bant and reliably cast Gearhulk. Alright, nothing good in the daily deals. Yesterday there was a free gold. We'll go ahead and dump our midweek Magic deck, and it is brewing time. I'm gonna have to move my mic because it's kind of in my way of my hands. Alright, there we go. We want Toxic, and presumably we're sticking to these colors. I have to say, this Annex Entry I've gotten dunked on by in quite a few situations, so I think Annex Entry is maybe one of the cards we want to play, but Venerated Rot Priest is for sure one of the cards we're going to be playing. I like Crawling Chorus. The question is, are we committed to like Venerated Rot Priest combo, or are we going to try and play a little bit more just standard poison? Because what was the card that they used? It was Divine Resilience. This, if we kick it, it's 4 mana, and it says any number of target creatures you control gain indestructible until end of turn. So we can target a bunch of different things. So we need several creatures on the battlefield. If we play Bant, we do get access to Mockingbird, which I think is a big advantage. It's hard to say, but I think I'm tempted to just stick with Selesnya and see if we can make it work. If we can't, we can try and move to adding blue or some extra special cards. Huh. Well, alright, it's already the consoles. I don't think we want to play that. I think we just want poison creatures, to be honest. It's kind of boring to put it together and when you just do this, but Toxic. Alright, Crawling Chorus I think is just good because it makes a token. Annex Entry exiles something, which is nice. The rest of these I'm less convinced about. Skrelv is pretty annoying. I guess we'll play 2 Skrelvs to protect our creatures. And then besides that, I'm gonna pull up Untapped and try and look at what people are playing in poison decks. If anybody has any ideas, let me know in the chat. The cards to add. I wonder if a Gearhulk Poison deck actually shows up on the standard meta. Selesnya Cage, Selesnya Toxic. It is being played, sorry, Bant Toxic. It is being played in a Bant Toxic deck. Elusive Otter is being played, and 4 Divine Resilience is being played. Interesting. They're not playing any Mockingbirds, which isn't also kind of strange. Alright, let's look up Venerated Rot Priest list and see what happens. Whoops. Hello? Oh my goodness, the website. Not always running smoothly. Looks like Bant Toxic actually might be the way to go. Which I'm a little shocked by, but not too shocked. I do think in our deck list we do want to put Elusive Otter in it. Because it's a creature that we can tutor with the Gearhulk, and then we can cast the spell side. Now, I think Sheltered by Ghost is good for this because it targets stuff for Venerated Rot Priest. Is there a way of making our mana work for Brightglass Gearhulk? That's the one thing I'm wondering. Because if we add blue, it gives us Mockingbird, so we can make copies of Venerated Rot Priest, which is really fun. I'm gonna do it. We're just gonna do it, and we'll try and make the mana work. That might be actually the devotion of the rest of our cards, is just putting in cards that make our mana work. Anything that adds mana. Oh my goodness. I don't know if mana shows up. Yeah, probably not. Green's got Mana Dork, so Citadel Stalwart, I guess we could play that. That helps. It's a creature and it can tap for mana of any color. It does tap down our creatures, but it's better than nothing. We could play a Scrap Torture for Graveyard Hate for combo decks, and then that's probably enough to help out with our mana problems. Some do kind of want something that makes tokens help us. Well, we have also like no card draw. How do these decks function without card draw? I don't know. Oh, you know what? We can play the Invasion. It's this deck is becoming a little bit more troll, I think, in the way I'm building it, but Invasion of Ikoria can help us find more tutor Venerated Rot Priest out of the deck onto the battlefield. Go down Skrelv or the Scrap Forger. Alright. Seems okay. Can we make the lands work? We're committed to the bit. We're committed to Venerated Rot Priest. Probably a bit too much so. Can we make Verges work? Pipe, thanks for streaming. Hey, I'm glad everyone made it. I'm watching with only half an eye, but the Basilisk Collar has licked me more than care to admit. Yeah, the Basilisk Collar was pretty fun with the Gearhulk. Right, we're gonna try and make Verges work. This seems like a bit of a crime. How many blue spells? We only have Mockingbird, so maybe we can get away with it. feel like playing Surveil lands is not the way to go, but well, how else do we fix our mana? Alright, we'll play these Surveil lands. We'll cut all of our islands, I think. Don't think we mind losing them. And then we'll play the Pain lands, probably. Could play the Fast lands, but we don't have Sheltered. I was just thinking about that. Well, we can adjust that in a moment. Where are they? Oh, I scrolled past them clearly. Alright, Brushland. What was our mana skew towards? It skews evenly between white and green. Where are the blue, white Painlands? There's the wastes. Do we think I will cut one more land for a Painland that's blue? Alright. Mana may be functional. This is very questionable. I think we want to play Sheltered. It's interesting that you see like these decks playing Gearhulk, but they're not playing a ton of other things. Well, they're only playing 2 Annex Entry. You guys are gonna play 2 Sheltered, 2 Annex Entry. Alright, well, this is gonna go probably not great. We will find out. Our mana base is probably a bit atrocious. Our deck also probably a little clunky, but maybe it'll all work out. I'm just very cautious about adding colors when not entirely necessary, so I'm worried, but alright, Scroll turn 1 and Sheltered by Ghosts. It is something. Could play out the Flood Farm Verge so we can get to Mockingbird eventually. Mono red. Okay, Sheltered is good for mono red. Scrap Forger. So we can play this out, play Scrap Forger, and then play Sheltered on Scrap Forger maybe. Indestructible should also be pretty decent into them. Opponent, are they going to Lightning Strike our Scrap Forger? We could pay life to defend it with Skrelv, which might be worth it, so we have an actual blocker. Opponent, I'm assuming they have a burn spell because they're looking at our creatures quite a lot. Okay, they do not go for it. Alright, well, we're gonna have to take 4. Man, mono red is such a plague. You build a deck to try and face mono red, and then it's suboptimal for everything else. Alright, here we go. Venerated Rot Priest is quite nice. Play Scrap Forger, give them a poison, and then we can hold up Divine Resilience. Get rid of the Manifold Mouse because Double Strike is scary. Could play the Mockingbird down, but we're going to hold off. Next turn, we don't have enough mana to play the Mockingbird and Divine Resilience. If we did, I think we would win. Because that would be 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2, which would be 8. They would go down to just, they would go all the way up to 9. So actually we don't win quite yet, but we could have. I see why Divine Resilience is a 4 of in these decks. Dang. I'm sad I didn't like notice this interaction. If we top deck a land, we can get so close. So close. Alright, I'm not gonna block. Probably gonna hurt, but it's not gonna kill us no matter what. It's just 9 damage. Alright. Land, okay. We're getting there. Pay 0, confirm 0. Copy the Rot Priest. Divine Resilience. We can use it. We can chump and then give everything indestructible. Probably block the Heartfire Hero, to be honest. I think this is the best blocks that we can do. And then give everything indestructible. We just need to top deck one more spell. I guess we could have double blocked the Challenger. Doesn't matter because the opponent has the Monstrous Rage. They're gonna trample over for 4. We go up 1. Submit 4, yep. Just a few. Wait, is that surely that's not lethal? I can't count, but wait, what? How's that lethal? Huh? Okay, no, it's not. Opponent lightning strikes my face. Well, we still lose, going all the way up to 9 poison. Wait, opponent, you're gonna... Okay. Dang, that is insane, man. I can't. They gotta get rid of Monstrous Rage. I know I got a comment yesterday saying that, like, Monstrous Rage... I shared a video from Brian Kibler saying that, like, Beanstalk and Monstrous Rage are a little bit kind of front runners in terms of the format and really hard to interact with effectively, and so he was making an argument for them to being banned. Someone commented saying that I don't see how Monstrous Rage is that big of a problem. It's just a really pushed pump spell. I'm probably butchering their words a little bit, but the real problem with it is it makes blocking irrelevant. They just trampled straight through. It's the trample that's the problem. Like, they could make a 1 mana +4 and +0, and it sure would be pretty disgusting, but it would at least be a little bit fair. Alright, I'm glad I didn't put out the Venerated Rot Priest. The opponent is against on... Oh, they probably... Divine Resilience. I believe... No, I guess I could have played out Brightglass Gearhulk next turn. I hate edicts! Red is not the color of trample either. Yeah, I don't know. The color pie is a myth. That's my my wild take. No, it's just that I feel like the color pie is just a very self-made set of design constraints that ends up being kind of silly. Get rid of my sheltered, I guess.
We all have things we'd rather.
You can play Brightglass, which is nice. And Brightglass can grab us. It's painful, but our mana is actually working. Our mana is working, man. Insane. Double Rot Priest? Oh, you don't have discard. You do not have discard, opponent. You don't. Yeah, green. I'm pretty frustrated with how they design things for green. Yeah, first strike opponent. It is a ability that does good stuff. Opponent Liliana is probably gonna die. I like how everything they have is an edict though. Kinda crazy.
I'm tired of your secrets.
Oh, Mockingbird. It's 2 poison. Is there any reason to hold back Stalwart? No, not really. I could grab another Gearhulk with Mockingbird. Seems pretty good that the opponent could have another discard spell, but we get 2 cards with it. Now this is the really crazy interaction that Mockingbird has. This Mockingbird plus Brightglass Gearhulk, you just chain them together and it goes crazy, man. We'll grab the Elusive Otter, which gives us a way to put a bunch of poison because we can target all of our creatures. Wow, these mana dorks actually are working so much better than I expected. I will play this, and then with Elusive Otter, I will distribute or attempt to distribute 3 counters. You get a counter, you get a counter, and GG. Okay, I like this. I like this. Oh, I wonder if I got the achievement for... Wait, what? Hold on. Isn't there an achievement for poisoning your opponent out? Or did I already do it? I thought I didn't do it, and I was gonna get it today. Where are you? Gotta be here. Oh yeah, here. Complete victory. Have an opponent lose a game by having 10 or more poison counters. What? Oh wait, have they been conceding? Come on, opponents. We're trying to unlock achievements here. Yeah, they conceded. Ah. Alright, we're gonna play this until we get that achievement. Come on, we can do it. Alright, well, and something. Surveil Land turn 1 is crazy, but... Alright, I want to land. Alright, there's a land. We have Rot Priest into Rot Priest into just literally all of the Rot Priests you could imagine. Because we just have copies of them with Mockingbird. This hand, I didn't realize how stacked it was. Opponent, if they temporary lockdown, I will cry. I don't think we actually have what's it called? It's Sheltered by Ghost to get rid of lockdown, so that's our 1 out against lockdown. I think our opponent's probably gonna be playing lockdown. Part of our problem, but we need a target spell. That's all we need. Legion to Ashes? Okay. I mean, we started. Our other one isn't a token copy, so it's fine. And the fact that they played that makes me feel a little bit better about running out another 2 Rot Priests. No, that might have been the wrong move. If we get sweeped, it's my fault. Alright, they're scrying before they draw, so that's a good sign. They put it at the bottom. It's a good sign. Land Day of Judgment. Land, it's tapped. Okay, no Day of Judgment. Arding Gust. So opponent is Ketramos. They're definitely a Ketramos deck. This is exile removal. This is exile bounce or removal. This is exile to itself. So definitely Ketramos deck. If I seen one. I probably don't want to actually use the Scrap Gorgers to get rid of their cards in their graveyard. Imagine if we had one more target spell. I think we're going to swap out a card or two for a target spell. Because if this deck is going to be this heavy into Rot Priest, it's probably worth. It could lock down still. Heavily cover up. Okay. That was kind of rough, but happens. It happens. Is Tyvar Stand worth it in this deck? I'm trying to figure out what do we play for a target spell. Ooh, we could play Feral Encounter. Probably not a good idea, but Feral Encounter does target and it does look at the top 5. Oh, lockdown on top. And a Mockingbird is not very helpful. Divine Resilience, you're kind of late to the party. And also Divine Resilience, it's a cool card. The problem is Indestructible doesn't mean much in this standard because you have Temporary Lockdown, you have Sunfall, you have no more or Nowhere to Run. There's a lot of exile based removal. Anoint with Affliction. Or yeah, right? I think that's the name of the card. Yeah, Anoint with Affliction. Soul Search. I think we've lost. I'm just gonna move on and we're gonna try and fix the deck a little. I think we need 1 or 2 more target spells. I'm not sold on Skrelv, I'm not gonna lie. I think I might drop Skrelv for spells that actually target the trigger our good friend Rot Priest. I'm just a Skrelv hater. Invasion of Ikoria. I don't know if actually we've never run into it, and the fact that I have not, I feel like I don't need it if I have Brightglass, because Brightglass Gearhulk is 1 mana more, but it also tutors up Venerate Rot Priest. What do we play? I want cards that draw as well. Cards that target and draw if we can. Complete Devotion. That is a card that draws and it targets. Lauren. Scroll Shift is interesting. I want to play, actually, that's one deck that I'm going to write that down. Scroll Shift plus Overlords is a card, like a deck archetype that I haven't tried out yet. But it seems like it would be pretty fun. Because you just play like the red and the green and the white Overlords and you just blink them. And you draw cards. You can also blink other things value. Okay. Tap up to 2 target creatures. If the spell is kicked, put a stun counter on each of those creatures. Draw a card. Wait. It kind of works. Hold on. Am I cooking? We can tap our own creatures. Hey, don't look. It's fine. It's fine. If the opponent is going to swing in with mono red, what if we just stop them from attacking for a turn? Maybe that's all we need. 3 mana, tap 2, draw. Maybe not the best, but we will find out. Crawling Chorus. We have mana to play Brightglass Gearhulk if we can find another white or green source, which I think is all of our lands, so we will give this a go. I think we lead on Portico though. Alright, untapped duel, Divine Resilience, that part of the combo. We need creatures on board, so four things to work. Alright, I guess we're into Azorius Artifacts, so that kind of blows. Because that means one less creature on board for our Gearhulks and our targeting spells. Counterspell? No. Okay, that's good. I grab Rot Priest. We have another land. Maybe I just grab 2 Rot Priest, to be honest. I think we play Rot Priest, and then we hold up Divine Resilience next turn. Tireless Snare gets rid of Brightglass Gearhulk. That's dangerous. Because what we're going to do, if we can make it happen, we'll just trigger it again. No removal in response? Alright, Perilous Snare is gonna... and we get another ETB and tutor up more creatures. Okay, well, Sheltered by Ghosts. Not always perfect removal, but when it's good, it's good. 2 mana, remove anything. Sometimes works. Sheltered by Ghost is like really good until it's not. When it's useless or when it fails, it's got a really high, or like a pretty high ceiling. Well, yeah, a really high ceiling. It just completely can stomp mono red. But the floor is equally as low sometimes when the opponent got the right removal. Alright, we have Skrelv to protect Rot Priest, so might be more of a standard toxic draw. I'm surprised our mana base is holding up. This has been insane. I haven't had any trouble casting Gearhulk so far. Knock on wood. Alright. Rot Priest down. He's jamming. We can play a Mockingbird next turn. Bristly Bill? What are you doing, Bill? Okay, resist the urge to play the Bushwood Verge. Get the Rot Priest down. I will protect my creatures. We can get rid of Bill with a Sentry. We can also get rid of a what was that card called? Hydra, Mossborn Hydra, if the opponent's going that route. So I think our plan is just Gearhulk. Okay, that does do things. Wow, they attack. That feels like a risky move. Divine Resilience. We get 2 poison, and then we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Holy. feel like that just won us the game pretty much. I don't think I could have won this turn because I think this only gives me 6 poison if I kicked it. Once up to 3. Wow. It's pretty disgusting. Divine Resilience plus Rot Priest. And then Gearhulk is just extra copies of Rot Priest and not a bad version of it. Like playing Invasion of Ikoria for 3 mana to get Rot Priest doesn't give you a 4/4 with First Strike and Trample. Hey, it's big. I'll give you that. Pass his turn, and I will spare no moment to just kick bit 4. And that should be enough. Wow. What is this deck? I guess we've figured out what Gearhulk's really good at. I mean, Gearhulk didn't do anything this game, but it's felt good in securing these sorts of games, and I think we've all of the old Rot Priest decks that were super cheesy, like there was a bit more of mid-rangey poison decks, well, slower poison decks, but like the really cheesy let's copy up Venerate Rot Priest like a billion times. I don't think we're as competitive as this one. That's crazy. It got better. Nice card, GG's. Yeah, it's insane. I'm surprised I haven't seen more of this. Maybe I just haven't been playing enough Arena. Alright, I think we actually have that deck at a pretty good spot. So if anybody has any things we should try out before I end stream, it's getting to the point where I don't want to spend just maybe like another 20 minutes, and then we'll be calling it. Wait, was that you? I wasn't looking at usernames, but that was insane. All right, you know what we'll do? I've been enjoying Historic recently, as I was saying. We'll play Historic, or I'll show off the Historic deck that I was talking about for a game or two, and then we will call it there. We'll just play regular Historic queue. That's what I've been playing. But yeah, Historic, it's bigger format. This, I think, is a pretty friendly deck in terms of I had a fair amount of the wild cards I collected. I've been playing since like Crimson Vow. And so I had Uvenwald Oddity, Leyline of the Guild Pact I already had. Railway Brawler is in Standard. I had Storm the Festival, this card is so much fun. Outcaster Trailblazer is in Standard. Planetwar Elves and Elvish Mystic, they're uncommons. Or commons, and this is uncommon, this is uncommon. Plukernos in Standard, so most of these cards sort of in Standard. Just had to craft a Leyline of Abundance, and I actually had Nykthos because I think I got the Historic Anthology or whatever it was. But yeah, this is the deck. The way it works, if you're unfamiliar, Nykthos is kind of a it's just a criminal card. It's really, really broken. What it does is it says pay 2 mana, tap, choose a color, add mana equal to that your devotion to that color. And devotion is the number of mana pips you have in the cost of your cards. So the way that you kind of break this is we have free things called ley lines, and ley lines have mana symbols in them. Usually, you know, they cost mana. And so Leyline of the Guild Pact, that's 4 green pips, and Leyline of Abundance, that is 2 green pips in its cost. And so you can have turns, or turn 2, you have access to 6 mana. Because the way it works is you have like these ley lines in your hand. Turn 1, you play a land, you play a ramp spell. Turn 2, you play Nykthos, you can tap activate Nykthos and make a bunch of mana. That is like the kind of ideal draw. And one of the engines in the deck, once you have a bunch of mana, is Storm the Festival, because you can pay 6, look at top 5, choose 2 permanent cards from among them and put them onto the battlefield. And then we have some really strong permanents. One of them also being a pretty big engine in the deck is Kiora. 3-drop, Planeswalker with 7 loyalty. Whenever creature you control with power 4 enters Scroll a card, 4 or greater enters. And so we have a lot of creatures. Well, we have some creatures to try and make that happen. And then we can also -1 Kiora to go ahead and untap something, so we can untap Nykthos and activate it again. So you can go pretty crazy, and hopefully we'll be able to demonstrate it in a couple matches here. Does anyone here play Historic? I feel like it's a good thing. If you don't play like Historic or other formats, I recommend getting at least one deck that you can play in a different format, so you can kind of take a break occasionally. You're like, I'm tired of losing in this format. You can try a different one sometimes. Doesn't necessarily mean you're gonna stop losing, but I don't. I think one thing I'll say is, like, particularly also in the play queue, I think, oh gosh, that's a little unfortunate. But I feel like Historic, despite it having a stronger card pool, I think you find a lot more people who are just playing to have fun. So maybe a little bit, it's not necessarily like directly more competitive, though there are certainly like broken things you can do. So maybe I'm a Historic, I just don't see Historic as that crazy. All right, we would like to draw a 4-drop, or we could draw Storm the Festival. That would also work pretty, or like a 4-power creature. No sweats, sign me in. Hey man, I feel like it's not like entirely sweat free, but I feel like Historic, especially if you don't have like a super competitive MMR, I think it's pretty darn chill. Because I find that my opponents are chilling with, they'll play all sorts of things. They'll just play like decks that are pretty much standard decks almost, and we're getting mono black controlled. I feel like, what is this? At the beginning of your end step, choose a creature with least toughness. Oh my goodness, that's actually pretty cool in terms of kind of dunks on elves. Every single turn they just give something -1/-1. When your opponents control no creatures, you can sacrifice it, or it sacrifices. I can't block. Our Outcaster Trailblazer is going to get smaller. Kiora, I feel like you're a little late, but it's okay. I don't think we're going to be able to turn this one around. Ball Stronghold. I didn't realize this card was in or on Arena. I guess I just didn't know what set it was in, because Dominaria is on Arena. Oh my goodness. The plan is Knight of Dust Shadow Beatdown. Alright, that finally goes away so we can start playing stuff again. I will play the Trailblazer, or we'll plot the Trailblazer because it doesn't really do anything on the battlefield. And the next turn we can play it, get the mana, and hopefully we find like a Storm the Festival. A lot of mana. Are we dead? No. We can pump it. Total of 2 or quite a few times. We can't gain any life, but yeah. All right. draw big with the Outcaster Trailblazer on the Kiora. Utopia Sprawl was not it. Well, I have to block, otherwise I'm dead. We can tap and untap our Snow-Covered Forest with Kiora to make a bunch of mana. This Kiora is such a cool card. Basically got like Gearhulk's Uprising in terms of card draw. We have to block because we die if we don't. And then it also just works really well with the well, permanents that tap for more than just a small amount of mana. Opponent felt like pumping it up to the moon. I guess they needed to keep it alive. And we die because we only have one blocker and that has Menace. Yeah, sometimes you draw. You do not get the nut draw. We got our Historic Mage achievement, which is cool. 25 games of Historic played. I want to be able to show off one of those nut draws though. It was funny, I played a game the other day, I think it was, where I had like 3 ley lines, so I put them onto the battlefield, and the opponent just conceded. They didn't even play anything out. It was just ley lines win. Here you go, ley lines win. No, maybe. Hopefully they don't kill this elf. We're playing 22 lands, I think, just to try and make those top decks a little bit better when you have so much mana. But next turn we have access to 9 mana. Are we going to do anything with it? Probably not. But 9... They just concede. They concede to 9 mana. Bro, we had an elf in the hand and that was pretty much it. Oh, wait. Let me out. Did I disconnect? Hello? Can you guys hear me? Why? My opponent broke my game. That's crazy. I pressed escape. There was no gear in the top right to press like the leave game or anything like that. I don't know what happened. So that was interesting. Well, that's the first time I've had Arena crash in a bit. Come on. Alright, run it back. We can do better than that. I want to cast things, opponent. Gosh darn it. Did we get the poison achievement? Oh, we didn't get the poison achievement. I think every single time our opponents have conceded. It's actually kind of annoying. Alright, this hand, pretty darn good because we can nick those turn 2. I mean, we don't have any card draw, so top decks be good. Utopia Sprawl makes it so we can add more mana next turn so that we can activate Nykthos. No, I don't think we actually have enough mana to... well, yeah, I'm losing my mind. Fine. Nykthos. Opponent is on goblins, presumably. We're just gonna add as much devotion to the battlefield as we can, and hopefully it'll be fine. That's 10 devotion. We have access to 10 mana next turn. The reason why Uvenwald Oddity is so good in this deck is because you can use your excess mana to flip it into Behemoth that gives everything haste and trample and +1/+1. Cast big creature. Flip big creature into bigger creature. And swing. This is turn 3. Turn 3, we made like 14 mana. It's just an insane mana cheat. Oh gosh. Can we top deck something good? I'm honestly afraid, but I think we will keep pushing, at least with Uvenwald Behemoth. Because next turn we can win, but if the opponent has like a Bushwhacker type effect, like Convoke style, where you just pump up all your creatures' power, yikes. Oh, that's just it. It's +1/+0. There's Goblin Bushwhacker. Everything gets +1/+0 in haste. Did we die to Bushwhacker? I think we did. Oh, we lived. Haste in the elf and GG. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, we played a big thing and started beating in. Okay, so the deck is playing Nykthos. If you're unfamiliar with Nykthos, it's a really busted card. It's a land that taps for mana equal to your devotion. Similar to like the way 3 Tree City works, but that doesn't care about devotion. Devotion is the number of mana pips in your costs. So it can add green equal to the number of green mana pips in our stuff. And so it works really well with ley lines, because you can start the game with them on the battlefield. As you can start with like 2 pips if you have Leyline Abundance, or 4 green pips if you have Leyline of Guild Pact. And then we're playing Historic and green, so we can play a bunch of 1 mana ramp spells. And then Storm the Festival allows you to dump that mana effectively into things. Look at top 5, put 2 permanents from among them. You want to hit like Kiora if you can, because you can untap your Nykthos with it, and it also makes it so whenever you put power 4 greater creature, you get to draw more cards. And so we're playing some power 4 greater creatures. Outcaster Trailblazer also draws this card with 4 greater creatures. We have Mana Outlet in Plukranos. Uvenwald Oddity is kind of our win con. We can flip this over and get that big creature that gives all of our other creatures +1/+1 trample and haste. And so, yeah, basically turn 2, we can have up to, I guess, I don't know what the ceiling is, but you can have like 6 mana turn 2. It's pretty ridiculous. We had one of those styles of games and our opponent just conceded even though we had nothing to spend the mana on in our hand. Or nothing crazy to spend the mana on in our hand. It is... One of the problems with the deck is drawing into... Or like, having the right nut draw and having the right payoffs. Well, that is turn 0 win. I only play Commander, so it's fun to see tight synergies. This deck isn't standard, but yeah. Some of the things you can do in the constructed formats is pretty crazy. I do enjoy Commander though as well. Speaking of Commander, I was thinking about making a video talking about the color green in Commander, because I feel like I often hear that green is like absolutely most busted color, completely dominant in casual Commander. And then I was looking at like EDH Rec, and if you look at the top 100 commanders, green actually shows up in the color identities of the commanders least often. So I feel like people really overstate how crazy green is. Yes, green land ramps, and that's strong, but I feel like people are too overzealous with it. This is a turn where turn 2 we're gonna have me too. I'm making a Lateral Blade of the Elves deck. That's a good pick for elves. That is a good pick for elves. All right, we will add. Oh wow, I forgot we had Leyline Abundance, which makes our elves tap for even more mana. This is just crazy. Opponent, please don't concede. I'll play Cure. No! We're about to do crazy things. No one wants to play with me. Yeah, maybe playing this deck in the play queue is mean. I don't know. The thing is, Mono Green Devotion used to be really popular in Pioneer, but I think, well, there's always, it's, I think it's probably still kind of popular in Pioneer, but, I believe they banned Karn out of Pioneer, and then, the Pioneer decks, as well as the historic decks, if you look on Untapped, there are like historic decks that are, the deck shows up on Untapped is what I'm trying to say. They play Karn because Karn, you can grab cards from your sideboard, so you have a way of spending all of your mana. Opponent goes first. This hand, yeah, we'll keep it. I've been working on, well, I have this Elves deck that I've kind of been putting together on Moxfield. It's kind of a thought experiment in terms of how ridiculous can you make Elf Ball in terms of how fast and consistent it is. But recently I've been thinking about playing, or like making a Gruul Elf deck where your commander gives all your other creatures haste, so that you're you can play like your Priest of Titanias and stuff and immediately tap them for mana, so they become sort of rituals. And then if you find something like Genesis Wave and you put a bunch of things onto the battlefield, they'll have haste, and so you can swing out well that way, because basically the original elf deck that I was making, trying to make it as optimized as possible, I found that giving my creatures haste was actually pretty helpful. Opponent seems to be playing Rakdos. But yeah, I've been thinking about making some commander videos, so let me know if you all would be interested in that, because I think it would be fun to make. But I was thinking of making them on a separate channel, because I feel like people, if I just post them on this channel, yeah, I don't know, maybe I should just post them on this channel. But if I was talking about commander stuff on this channel as well as standard, or making standard videos, I feel like the inconsistency in terms of the type of content would be bad. Oh my goodness, too many lands. That's no good. And our opponent has all of the knights of the Heaven Legion. I'm putting Swift Boots on my elves. Is it, what is, I'm forgetting. There's Lightning Greaves, there's Swiftfoot Boots is the other one. Is it? Yeah, okay. Lightning Greaves might be also pretty nice. Though I get that the card is more expensive, though it shows up in a lot of precons. Wait, why did they all get +1 counters? Oh, okay. It suddenly makes sense. I think I could have flipped my Uvenwald Oddity. Oops. Down goes the Elvish Mystic. Are we dead? No, and we win. What a silly game. Opponent blew up all of our elves and we just went beast mode. Perfect. 1-0. That's insane. Alright, we'll play one more game with this this deck, and then we'll wrap it up. Would you all be interested in commander content? Because I've been thinking about, I like brewing decks, so I've been making, or like I have a bunch of commander decks made on Moxfield, but I don't ever like, I'm very hesitant about like purchasing anything, so I hardly ever end up, or have, like the last time I purchased Magic cards in person, or like paper cards, it's been a while. What goes first? Oh, alt art for the Swiftfoot. There are some nice alt arts. Oh, it's so close to being good. If we had Nykthos, you know what? Living on the edge. If we find Nykthos, this hand is godlike. If not, Soul Dweller. We can still ramp a lot. The land off the top would allow us to play Cura and Pelucranos. Magic was like, yeah, I hear what you're saying, and no. How about no? Down with the elves. But yeah, I might make Commander content on another channel. Oh wow. The beatdown. And play Utopia. Our forest taps for 4 mana. We'll play Cura to then -1 to untap our forest that taps for 4 mana to play Pelucranos. This will trigger Cura, draw a card, and then I think we'll let the opponent draw a card with Shakedown Heavy. Okay. Yeah, you can have a card. No combat.
Smells fishy here.
Another Skull Dweller. Kind of annoying, but... Oh my goodness, triple Skull Dweller. Outcaster Trailblazer is amazing, though. Please draw me a Nykthos. Actually, Nykthos, I don't know what to do with the Nykthos. Oh, I will not get a Nykthos. I will proceed to flip Pelucranos into Firm Coil. I don't think I attack. I want to know how to make a good commander deck that's the most basic and effective video for new viewers. Wait, are they swinging at me or my... I gotta keep Cure, I think. I need the cards. Yeah, I feel like I was thinking about making a video that was just like how I would go about, or like an introduction to Commander for newer players. Commander, I feel like, is confusing. Oh no. Alright. Get in there, Pelucranos. They're gonna trade a Shakedown Heavy. Well, we don't need to untap. We get 2 3/3s, which is nice. They're gonna have to swing everything at Cura to take her out. Shieldred, uh-oh. There's a clock. Alright. Hopefully I don't draw enough cards to die to Shieldred. I have 22 life, so maybe we'll be okay. But we get to draw 2 cards. Leyline, not very useful. Land, not very useful. Wow. That's rough. Untap land? No, that's still not enough mana. Alright, we'll hold on to Cure then. Another way you can win with the deck is just an excess of mana plus Leyline of Abundance. So yeah, I guess I was thinking about making like an introduction to Commander, but it's probably more relevant to explain how to make Commander deck, because introduction to Commander is like how do you play the game also, which is maybe a little much in terms of the work needed. I guess the opponent has a second Shieldred. Not sure, but is it? Why would they? Yeah. All right, draw. This will draw us cards, so that's good. We will draw 3 cards and lose a bunch of life. All right, Elvish Mystic is not helpful. Land, not very helpful. One last one. Another Outcaster Trailblazer, interesting. I will refuse to play the Snow-Covered Forest yet because I want to get Nykthos if I can. We'll take another bunch of damages. And Childred. Where is Nykthos? Where are you? We're gonna take... We're just dead on our upkeep. Come on, where is the mana? Alright, Storm the Festival. Nykthos. Nykthos. Not Nykthos. Oh, he died too. Waiting to make a video until the release of the Final Fantasy set when new players come in. That's a good point. There will probably be a lot of new players with Final Fantasy. Some people were saying that Final Fantasy might be the best selling set for Magic, which I find interesting. I have never played Final Fantasy, so I was surprised to hear that it's has potential to like usurp the Lord of the Rings sets. Well, that is going to do it for today. We played Midweek Magic. We had a pretty decent series of games with that. We had some pretty crazy games with Venerated Rot Priest, plus Divine Resilience, along with our clone in Mockingbird and our tutor in Brightglass Gearhulk. Definitely think this deck was better than I expected. We played Citadel Stalwart and the Armor Scrap Gorger to try and fix our mana, and then yeah, I'm thinking about making a video on this historic deck. I don't know how many people will actually end up watching a historic video for me, but it's just a fun deck. So sometimes I just want to play something chill, and so yeah, that might happen. Anyways, thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. Have a nice morning, evening, night, afternoon, wherever and whenever you're